Hello and welcome to Reginald ESQ. I'm Underhook and this is my review, or definitive review, of all of the assault rifles currently available in Tom Clancy's The Division. I call it the definitive review because this is the most scientific and balanced review of the assault rifles to date. I haven't seen anybody do a better one. Shout out though to Wobo, W-O-B-O, who does great scientific reviews of different games and equipment in games. He's great if you want to have a look at that, if you really want to see not hype about weapons, but actual statistics and how they actually perform. What I'm doing, there are no high-end weapons included in this, and there are no named weapons included. Why? Well, because all of the named weapons have talents that do not require powers to activate. And so that destroys the comparison between the guns. Also, I have taken great steps to make sure that everything is even and balanced. I'll show you what I mean by that. If you look at my equipment loadout, all of my equipment is actually the equipment that you start the game with. It's very, very low level. And so you can see my firearms, stamina, and electronics are all at 535, which is very low. So low, in fact, that none of the abilities on any of the guns are activated, which is very important if you're comparing the guns to each other. We just want to see how the guns perform, because of course the talents can vary between gun to gun, and you can even try and get the ones you want. So there are 9 rifles that I'm going to review here. Now, I have done a spreadsheet which has all the statistics listed, and I'll quickly I'll show you that in a second. First of all, I want to show you why the spreadsheet has been done and why I've put a link into it for you. Basically, the idea is that you can use the spreadsheet not only to pick the gun you want and see which gun you think is going to be the best for you and your playstyle, but also so that you can decide straight away which is the best way to modify the weapon. For example, at the moment I currently have equipped the LVOA-C. This weapon doesn't do a heck of a lot of damage, but it's pretty darn accurate. And let me show you what I mean. I'm going to aim at the bottom corner here of this target panel, and let's watch the horizontal stability of this rifle. That's pretty damn accurate. In fact, I call that perfect horizontal stability. It really doesn't change much at all during the entire firing. So for mod purposes, and it's on my spreadsheet, this thing has perfect horizontal stability. You do not, under any circumstances, want to waste a mod by putting horizontal stability on this weapon. It's a complete waste. You're not going to get it any better than that. This weapon has no mods and it already has perfect horizontal stability. Contrast that with the AK-47 right here, which is one of my favorite assault rifles in the game because it puts out the damage, but watch the horizontal stability here. It kicks like a bastard to the right. It really kicks to the right. So this gun here, if you want to use it, you must, in my opinion, put horizontal stability on. It has to be one of your mods if you want to be effective with this gun. Now, there are other guns that kick to the left, and there is the M4 which kicks to the left and right, which makes it incredibly difficult without mods to keep your shots on target. So that's what you can do, what the spreadsheet shows you. I'll quickly show you that spreadsheet now. Okay, so here is the spreadsheet. As you can see, we've got the AK-47 here, then we've got the ACR, P416, and etc. across. The last two here, the FAL and the SA-58, are burst guns. They only fire a 3-round burst. All the others can be fired on full auto, or you can feather them. You cannot fire less than 3 rounds at once on these either. They are difficult to control. Anyway, so you can have a look, and as I said, the horizontal stability on the LVOC was perfect, and you can see quite a few of the assault rifles have perfect horizontal stability and do not require any horizontal stability mods. However, they all have universally bad vertical stability, and do need still vertical stability if you can get it on there. However, I also state here, you see it says fair, good down here, vertical with feathering. So if you feather it, the bad stability actually becomes fair on this gun. On the P416, bad becomes good actually if you feather your firing, which is basically just repeatedly tapping the fire button rather than holding it down. So with the LVOA-C, with feathering, it is perfect. So for example, at long range headshots, if you feather, every single shot hits the head without even moving the mouse at all. So yes, and whereas this gun, the FAL, no matter what you do, it's almost impossible to get all 3 rounds of the burst to hit the head at long range. So the guns vary quite a lot, and this hopefully will tell you what mods you need to do. Just to explain a little bit more perhaps about it, well actually I've got down here, if you want to read this, you can read this, which is a testing methodology and also tells you a little bit about what's going on. So I might let you just read that rather than waste time explaining it. There's the spreadsheet, I'll put a link into it. Now I'm just going to go and do some testing and give you some conclusions about what I think about the guns. So the AK-47 is the highest damaging of the non-burst fire guns in the game. As we see here, it does, if I just let it go on full auto, it does kick heavily to the right and it kicks up a fair bit as well. However, with feathering, a little bit of work on the mouse, you can get most of the shots on the head. With stability mods and a fair bit of work, you can actually get it quite consistently with feathering. You can get consistent headshots out of this weapon. I've got no mods on it at the moment, and you can see it kicks a little bit too hard to the right. So you definitely need the horizontal mods. The vertical stability isn't really that necessary to get consistent headshots, but definitely vertical. And this gun, I find that it probably consistently gets the most damage on the head of any of the other assault rifles. Moving right along now to the ACR. And we'll just go full auto again. You can see this one actually doesn't really kick to the left or right, but it does still have a bit of an upward vertical kick. But if we feather it, whoops. You can see you can get pretty consistent headshots even without mods. Obviously if you mod the thing, you're going to get much better than that, and it is quite a good controllable gun and does reasonable damage. I quite like the ACR as well. Moving right along now, let's have a look at the P416 is the one I want to look at next. Full auto, you can see this one actually kicks to the left and also kicks quite high as well. So once again, horizontal stability is a good mod for this weapon. You can see with feathering, even without mods, it's actually not bad. So you might not, if you're not going to fire on full auto much, and just going to feather like this, you probably don't even need horizontal stability on the weapon, even though it does kick to the left on full auto. Next one we're going to have a look at is the M4. This is, you really need to heavily modify the stability on the M4 to get it to work. This weapon actually kicks to the left and the right. So if we watch it, actually I'll get a straight line so you can see. You can see there it zigzags, ends up going to the left on that occasion. Oops. Why did I get that out? As you can see, it wanders around all over the joint. If we try and get, even with feathering, you can see the weapon, because it kicks out sometimes to the left, sometimes to the right, you can't anticipate the movement and, like, you know, gradually pull back a certain direction, because all of a sudden it kicks the other direction and you overcompensate. So it's a very difficult weapon to compensate for accuracy, and horizontal stability mods are an absolute must on this if you want to land consistent headshots. It does have a very high rate of fire, and that may be the problem. And with any of the assault rifles, if you're going to increase the rate of fire, just be aware that it will probably increase the instability of the weapon. So let's have a look now at the M16, which is a very different, the MK16, a very different weapon from the M4. Oh, that's come up as number 2, has it? Okay. So the MK16. I'm sorry, that's not it. That's the M4 again. MK16, here it is. As you can see, horizontal stability is actually very good on this gun. And if we feather it at the head, once I got used to it, not bad. If we do little bursts, a couple of rounds at a time, pretty consistent headshots, so even without any mods, it's not too bad once again. Let's move on now to the Scar L. Now you will see some of them that have, you know, tactical, or they have custom, or they have whatever in front of them. They're all exactly the same as far as I can tell with the assault rifles. There is a difference with the sniper rifles, with the M44 between custom and hunting or whatever, but not with these assault rifles. So look here now, once again, horizontal stability is excellent on the Scar L. Let's have a look at the feathering here. So I'm having a bit of trouble keeping it down there. Let's see, horizontal is alright, but it's kicking up pretty hard. Let's have another look at this if I can try and anticipate it. Okay, I went a bit wild at the end, but you're having a bit of trouble with the kick on this weapon. So definitely vertical stability, which I think if you just get stability, not horizontal stability, it's just stability, will help a bit with the vertical kick. And I think that's probably more important on this weapon, is the stop the vertical kick. So now let's move on to the LVOA-C. This weapon I think is rated as doing the least damage per shot, per round, but it is extremely stable. Just make sure I have actually selected the weapon here. No, I haven't. Okay, so it's on number 2. So make sure we've got 2 here, and yep, that's definitely the weapon. So once again, I did demonstrate this one before, but the horizontal stability is excellent. And if we feather this gun, if I'm actually concentrating, it's really good. Let's do that again. Out of ammo. Okay, so that gives you a bit of an idea there of that gun. Its stability is very, very good, but like I say, the damage per shot is a little low. Now let's have a look at the 2 burst fire guns. So they are the FAL here. So that's the FAL. Let's have a look at horizontal stability here. That actually looked alright. So as you can see, the horizontal stability is fine on this gun. No problems with the horizontal stability. But in fact, I put that down, I rated that as perfect on my spreadsheet. But the kick here, if we aim at the center of the head, one of the 3 bursts, so that time 2 of them hit the head. We've got 2 shots in that time again. If I aim at the chin, 2 shots in again. To get all 3 shots to actually land on target, you need to aim at the center of the chest here, and then we get all 3 land, but unfortunately one of them is a body hit, so we overall do a little bit less, and sometimes you end up with 2 body shots. Now if I aim at the chin, no, that time I got a bit of a body shot in there. You can still only really consistently get 2 headshots. If you want to get all 3 shots hitting, you need to aim about the center of the chest. So once again, horizontal stability not a problem, but really, I haven't actually, even with mods, I haven't been able to keep this one down enough. And if we try and fire regular, like feathering, it's really, really hard to get consistent all your bullets on target with headshots. The gun kicks so hard, and I haven't been able, even with mods, to get this gun under control. So to me, this is probably the worst of the assault rifles and a difficult one to play with. Moving on now to the SA58, which suffers pretty much the same problems as the FAL, but it's not quite as bad. So if we select it, here it is. So SA58. So you can see there, it doesn't really, its horizontal stability is pretty good. I moved the mouse there at the end on that one. Once again though, it's a 3-shot burst, so if we aim at the center of the head, we're not really getting many of the actual shots hitting head. This is though the most powerful per shot assault rifle in the game. Damage per shot, it does more. That time we got 2 shots in the head. That time we got 2 shots in the head. Now if we aim at the chin, if you aim sort of low on the head, you've got pretty much guaranteed of getting 2 shots into the head. That was time I hit the body. So we've got 2 shots in the head there. Once again though, you aim about the neck if you want to get 3 shots with this gun. So it is definitely tighter than the FAL. Does more damage than the FAL as well. But once again, to get all 3 shots to hit, one of them has to be aimed at the body if you want all 3 shots to hit. Now, as far as some of the other testing figures I've got there, you'll see the RPM figures I've got on there for the gun, and pretty much across the board they match the figures stated by the game. My figures will be a little bit lower, and you'll see that in the stats, and I do explain that in the notes. It's just that my reaction time from when I turn the timer off to when the gun stops firing is the reason why my stats are a little bit lower. However, with the burst fire weapons, my figures were a lot lower than theirs, and it's because the way they work out is they say that the RPM is this. So that 1, 2, 3 shots, that's the speed of the gun. They don't account for the time it takes to press the mouse again and get another 3 shots going. So they're not talking about the time to empty the clip, they're just talking about those 3 shots. They're not talking about this. We have to keep pushing the button to get those 3 shots out. So realistically, it's not really the rate of fire of the gun, and I, in my statistics, give a more realistic measurement of that. Also, you'll see another statistic that I measure. I'll get a full auto gun out here. Is the actual rate of fire, and that is how many rounds you can actually put out over a minute, including the time to reload. And all I do to do that is I aim and I hold the left mouse button down like this, and the gun will just reload by itself. I just keep my finger on the button and it'll start firing again. And what I do is I do that for a minute and I count how many rounds were fired. And I do that by counting the magazines. Now when you do that, you'll see that the burst action guns are way lower than all of the other guns. Anyway, so it's very hard to put out a lot of damage with a burst action gun, and I don't like them. Probably my favourite gun at the moment is the AK-47, simply because it puts out good damage and you can consistently land them on the head. The easiest gun to use would be the LVOAC, and I think if you're working your way up through the ranks, like you're not level 30 yet, and it's hard to get good mods, the LVOA-C is a good one to use because you can consistently land headshots without good mods. Once you reach level 30, you'll be able to get lots of good mods, and you'll probably find a better gun than that. Alright, well I hope that helps you selecting your guns and modding your guns. I am going to do also reviews on the submachine guns, light machine guns, and shotguns, and marksman rifles. I'm probably not going to do sidearms, but I will be doing statistics, and the spreadsheet that I'm going to link to, I will be adding those additional pages onto that same link, so you can save that link if you want to. Also, if you liked it, enjoyed the review, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to Reginald ESQ. Have fun. I just thought I'd show you the spreadsheet again, just in case some of you can't use the link or can't access it or don't want to use the link. I've just sort of put it up here a little bit again so you can sort of see the stats and things there. And I'll just scroll down a little bit, so in case you want to read that, you can pause it there and read it if you want to. Read all that information, then come back and have a look at the chart and pause it and have a look. So that's it. Alright folks, see you later.